back to another episode of Brunch N Banter. On this episode, we will be featuring loss. We will be talking about a public tragedy, so please proceed with caution. So I kind of wanted to, I know on the last episode we talked about burnout, right? So I kind of wanted to talk about loss and like how we deal with loss. So I know we both saw this story that came up of a beauty influencer who was tragically murdered. Her name was Valeria Marquez. So Valeria was a 23-year-old beauty influencer from Guadalajara, Mexico. She wasn't just known for her like stunning makeup looks or beauty tutorials on TikTok. She was actually also an entrepreneur. She was a beauty salon owner. She was running her own place, and it was called Blossom the Beauty Lounge. That's what I found online. I'm assuming it would be in Spanish, not in English, but...
What would that be in Spanish? I actually don't know what Blossom is in Spanish.
Oh, it's called Blossom Beauty, the Beauty Lounge in Zapopan. I don't know if that's hers, but that's what came up on IG. So I don't know if you knew this, Nana, but in 2021, she won the Miss Rostro pageant. More important. Yeah, I know. That's pretty cool, huh?
Mm-hmm.
She was known for her authenticity, her connection with her audience, and her drive to uplift others. So I don't know if you go ahead.
I was going to say she was a well-rounded person.
Yeah, it sounds like she was. Did you look up her death to see like what happened?
I didn't see what day, but I know kind of like the premise around it.
Mm-hmm.
It's that she had gotten an expensive gift from someone who was making her feel uneasy, and I believe they said she had like picked up a plushie and she was scared, and that's when she got shot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so pretty much what I found was that on May 13th of 2025, during a TikTok live stream from her salon, Valeria was tragically shot and killed. Moments before, she did mention being nervous about this man who previously shown up to her salon with an expensive gift.
Mm-hmm.
So I think moments after, like she had done the live, or she was in the live. Sorry.
Yes, she was still live.
He walked in, or a man walked in and asked for her by name and then shot her multiple times. He fled the scene on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
So as far as I was looking into it, it looked like authorities are still investigating her death, but they are investigating it as a femicide. I don't know if you know what that is.
I have heard. It's murders are surrounding women mostly.
Mm-hmm.
I guess just men believe that she can't be successful. She can't have anyone else.
Yeah, so pretty much femicide is the killing of women or girls because of their gender. It is often tied to power, control, and societal misogyny. In Mexico, femicide is recognized legally due to frequency and brutality of these crimes.
That's actually so sad that it's very common there.
I know. Which kind of makes sense though, like if you think about it. I don't know if anybody remembers when we were talking about the dating and how like that dating app Chispa, there was a lot of like I found there was a lot of men who were very misogynistic too.
Yeah, like that, just the whole thing where like, I can't have you, no one can.
Exactly.
Or that they're what is the word? Not scared, intimidated.
Yeah.
By successful women. But that's also too like how I was telling you earlier. On The Voice, there was Adam Levine who mentored. I'm pretty sure her name was Christina Grimmie, and she was also brutally murdered by a fan / stalker. You know, he had the backstage passes.
Stalking is also part of like femicide too. It's usually it's in context of like domestic violence, sexual violence, stalking, and abuse of power.
Yeah, and like the crazy thing too is like when they're like crazy stalkers where they truly believe that they have a relationship, you know, it's totally one-sided obviously, but they're like, oh, you're my partner, and if they see you talking to another man, they're like, oh, you're cheating on me, and they don't even know you exist. Like, you know, you're not aware. Yeah, that's when they get real crazy. and then they'll like go kill you because they're like, if I can't have you, no one
Yeah, it's
can.
like they built like this whole fantasy in their head about like how you are with them or how you are in a
Yeah.
relationship with them or whatever.
Yeah, and especially too, like with influencers, they only show small little snippets of their life that are,
Mm-hmm.
quote unquote, perfect. And it's like you really don't know them and you don't know what their life is like. And you've built this whole world of, oh, we are together, or I don't even know where I was going with that.
That they built a
But
fantasy
like,
in their head.
still, they're crazy. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that. They are mentally unwell.
Unstable. Yes, let's not
Uh,
diagnose people.
yeah, I'm sorry.
um,
I didn't mean to call them crazy.
yeah, so that did recently happen in May, so I just want to address that. And it kind of brought me onto the topic of like loss in general and um how we
Cool.
deal with loss, yeah, how we cope with loss and grief. And I don't know. I mean, I feel like the only stories that I know about like growing up where we have lost, at least for me, um like when our grandpa passed away, I do kind of remember that. I
Dad's
remember,
dad?
yeah, dad's dad
Oh,
when
that's engraved in my mind.
yeah, like every time I go into the hospital, I always think of him in the hospital bed holding a cup. Like his hands were like shaking because he didn't have good grip on it. And then them sending him home, and then him passing away like a week later, 2 weeks later, or something.
I don't really remember much of like his, end of like the last few days of his life.
Mhm.
Because I wasn't there. I had gone to a, it was for my, no, no, what was it? Not communion. What's after that? Confirmation?
Confirmation, yeah.
Yeah, we had to go to a retreat and we were gone for basically the whole weekend. And when we came back, I remember we parked in the parking lot of, I believe it was maybe like Big Lots.
Mhm.
It was somewhere in like a shopping center. And dad told me to stay in the car, and then everyone else got off. And then he just like looked at me in the rearview mirror because he was driving. Well, it was parked, but he was in the driver's seat, and he's like, telling me how our grandpa had passed away, and like he was crying, and then I was crying, and it was so sad because I was like, that's the last thing you expect to come back from, like you're on a high from being so happy, spending this time at,
Mhm.
like, with your friends and mentors and stuff, and then you come home, and someone has to break the news to you like that whole scenario right there of us in the parking lot in the car is literally engraved in my head.
I think that's like the only time I have ever really seen my dad cry too.
Yeah. I mean, he is a pretty sentimental man, sensitive man.
Mhm.
That is a lot harder to see your parents unhappy.
Yeah, going through something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's like one of the only times I've ever like really like thought about it. And I know we've had other like relatives pass away, like Noemi's, our cousin Mimi, her dad when he
Mhm.
passed away.
I don't
Um,
remember that.
I vaguely remember the going to the funeral.
Mhm.
Who else? Oh, Lisandro's mom.
Oh, that was
Like I
sad.
remember that too. Like, but I feel like sometimes like I don't remember everything because I feel like our brains kind of like block it out. Like
Yeah, it like protects you.
yeah, so you don't go
Yeah.
through that
Yeah,
because I
cuz
only
like
remember snippets of stuff.
also with our great grandma, when she passed away, uh, did she pass away before Lisandro's mom? She did, right?
Yeah.
Like I remember always seeing her like sitting in a chair with a blanket,
Mhm.
but I do not remember her passing away. Like I know she passed away and I know we went to her funeral and everything, but I literally cannot remember
Like
anything
hearing
about
the
it.
news about it.
Yeah.
You know
No,
what
I
I
don't remember.
do remember, and it's only because I just had to like really think about it. Was when we went to her. I don't know what you call it. Where you go see
Oh,
her
the rose.
at the open casket.
Oh, the embalmment thing?
Yeah, when we
Or
went to
maybe
go see
that's
her
not
there,
right.
and then that just brought another memory back to my head about something else. But let me finish the story. I think I gave her a kiss, and it was like she was so cold, and it was like hard, and it was like scary. But I remember there was another time when my grandpa passed away, and my dad asked me if I wanted to go give him a kiss, and I was like, no, that's scary, because he's already passed away. I don't want to go see him. Like, that was what
Yeah.
was going through my head. And also because, like, my mom goes through, like, sleep paralysis when people pass away, like, where they come back and visit you or whatever, but we call it sleep paralysis. And she goes through that, and I was scared. I was like, what if I go through that? I don't want to go through that.
Because you give him a kiss.
Yeah, because I was gonna go see him. I was like,
No,
nope, I'm good, thank you. So I think
that's
it
funny.
got me a little scared. But then I did it to our great grandma, and it was fine, but it was still like scary feeling in a way.
I mean, I would be scared to touch a dead body, so.
Oh, same.
Actually, I've touched a dead body. I've touched
I don't know.
2. No, seriously, in human anatomy and human
Oh
physiology
yeah,
in college, you have to, like, touch the cadavers. Yeah, that was not fun.
that sounds gross.
It is pretty gross.
So like in general, like grief doesn't always come in silence. Sometimes it does come with like all the headlines you see, the hashtags, public pain, and so we have to find a way to heal. So how do we grieve exactly? Like when we grieve somebody, whether it's personal, whether it's public.
I was just thinking about the 7 stages of grief, but I was like, "Wait,
Mm.
is that correct, or is it the 7 stages of denial?"
No, I think denial has like 12 steps of I don't know what.
Personally, I think it depends, like, I don't I don't think any I mean, I would say most people probably don't. I know I don't. I don't necessarily like to grieve alone. Like, for example, our chihuahua that we had,
Mm-hmm.
Yo-Yo,
Yo-yo.
mom made me go take him to the where is it? I think it was the pound or the shelter to go euthanize him, since
Mm.
he had the like tumor in his stomach. And um I'm pretty sure I went alone, and I couldn't even walk in the room with them. Like I couldn't even talk to the girl because all I know is that here I am handing them over our dog so that they can kill him.
Yeah.
And knowing what I know now and how, like, when dogs die, they only look for the people they love, I probably would have never left him. But back then, like, I was like fresh out of high school, and I just didn't want to go there alone. And then, like, I had to come back home, and like, mom was acting like normal, and everyone was acting normal. And like, I was the one who had to take him to go die. And so I was like crying in my room, and then mom came in. She's like, I know it's hard, but it had to be done. And I'm like, then why couldn't you guys do it? Why'd you make me do it? I was like, he's not even my dog to begin with. Like, he didn't even like me as much as like he liked you or mom.
Yeah.
That was pretty hard.
I know, like, similarly, when I went to go put Mitzi down, I made my mom come with me.
Heck
Because
yeah, don't
it
go
was hard.
alone.
It's such a hard thing to do. Like, not somebody, sorry, a little creature, a little pet who you have had in your life for, Yo-Yo was like 12 years, but Mitzi was like, what, 15 years? 16 years?
Yeah.
And you have to go put them down. Like, you feel guilt. You feel like you're killing them. Like, you're taking them to their death. And it's
Yeah,
hard.
because, all they ever know was love, and all they ever gave you was love, and all you ever gave them was love. So it's like, while it might be for their own good and they're not suffering anymore, like, it's still really hard. And that's why I'm like, I feel like most people, when they go through grief, I feel like they don't want to be alone because I know I don't want to be alone.
Mm-mm.
Because I feel like,
Yeah.
going back to your question, I feel like just the way that I deal with it is like, you cry until you can't cry anymore. And then you kind of just are in this like calmness, and you kind of just start going back to regular life because you can't be stuck in the past.
Mm-hmm.
They die, they move on, you move on, and you just hold their memory in your head.
Yeah. I think, like, the first thing I did when I got back from putting Mitzi down was cry because, like, I would see her bed and I was like, oh, she's never going to use that again, you know? It's
Mhm.
like things like that. And then,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like, I think I felt like, and then I felt guilty, like, for like a week. I think I felt guilty that I had put
Yeah.
her down.
Oh, yeah. The guilt
Yeah,
eats
so I
you
think that's like
alive.
one of the steps of grief, probably. You feel guilty, you feel sad. I don't know. You have the seven
I
steps over
tell you,
there.
the 7 stages of grief: shock slash disbelief, and then denial, and then anger, and then bargaining, and then guilt, and then depression, and then acceptance. I would say I go from shock, disbelief to guilt if there needs to be any guilt, and then acceptance.
Yeah, same here.
I skip a few stages, you know?
Me
I
too.
don't get angry.
Me neither.
I mean, I'm sure there are people who get angry, like,
Probably for like the loss of like an actual person rather than a pet, maybe.
yeah, like,
Unless your pet was lost through the consequences of something bad, I think.
yeah, like if, like let's say your home went on fire when you weren't home and you lost your pets, like I would feel guilt for
And
sure.
probably anger too or something.
Yeah. 'Cause it's like, why wasn't I home? You know?
Yeah. But yeah, a lot of people feel like they feel violent. They feel like they go through all these emotions when they lose a special person to them. Especially if it's in the way that Valeria was lost, where it's like somebody caused
Oh
it.
yeah,
Like that's
absolutely.
violence, that's everything right there. And it's public and it's hard to
Uh-huh.
deal with, you know?
I feel like too that's when a lot of people will take out their rage through exercise. Like I feel like I see a lot of
Mm-hmm.
like movies specifically when they go through some
Mm-hmm.
like type of grieving process and they're angry, they're like over there kickboxing, running, getting all their anger out and then they cry.
Yeah. And then
It's
like
always
after
the
like all
crying
that,
after. Yeah.
yeah, they cry after all that. And then after like the crying, after the anger, after all that, people tend to like do like for us, at least with the Catholic way, we will light candles, we'll say prayer,
Mhm.
we'll do like a little feast, like just to like cherish their life in a way
Yeah.
and help them move on to the next phase of their lives.
Yeah. I mean, you really are like you basically like celebrate their life. I actually would want to see what it looks like to go through the full 7 stages of grief.
Like a study or
Like an actual person going through it. Like I don't want
oh,
to see someone
like talk
sad,
to
but
someone.
yeah.
It does not sound nice. Like you
Like
want to be the witness to it where you can actually see the stages of grief.
yeah, because I don't think I've ever actually seen someone like actively going through the stages past like shock and denial.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And then just crying and then finally kind of like getting better with life.
Yeah.
And I know like most people don't want to hear it, but like when people say it's gonna be better, it's gonna be better, and like it really is gonna get better. But
Oh
it's just
yeah.
hard to hear that the
It,
fact that you have to move on without that person or that pet or whatever, whomever you're grieving.
yeah.
And so with grief comes reflection on overcoming loss. So if you or someone listening has ever lost somebody suddenly, especially when it comes with violence, you know that healing isn't linear. You may feel shock, rage, emptiness, and it's okay because what matters is that you don't go through it alone. You can go to therapy, you can journal, talk to others, building something in their name, like how people did for the what's it called, the Twin Towers, when they built those things in the
Another
names of,
memorial.
yeah, like building stuff
Hmm.
like that. Healing is an act of resistance.
Honestly, that is so true. Like so many good things can I mean it's not a nice thing to say, but good things can come out of, the death of others.
Oh yeah, like people who are lost to violence, a lot of times there's a lot of like scholarships that are made in their names. Um,
Mhm.
like what is it? The Amber Alert that came from
Yeah.
somewhere. That came from a little
Yeah.
girl named Amber who was taken. I think she
Mhm.
was eventually found, but she was passed away. Right? They had killed her.
I think so.
It was like from the 80s or something,
Yeah, the
70s.
mom started the Amber Alert because she didn't want
Yeah,
other children to go through the same thing, and then they had the first successful Amber Alert girl who was found.
yeah. And there's Megan's Law, which of course came
Mhm.
from somebody with I think a child named Megan, I believe. I can't remember
Yeah.
everything, but it was something like that. So good things do come from unfortunate events, which is sad to say, but it's something that we as a society kind of heal that way. We prevent it from happening to other people.
Yeah.
When it comes to reflection, we all want to hear a message of hope. So even though Valeria's life was very short-lived, because she was only, how old was she?
I
23?
think she was like 23, 22,
Yeah.
somewhere around there.
She was about 23, so her life was cut very short. She did touch many. Her influence lives on, not just in makeup videos, but in the calls of justice, in the conversations about women's safety, and in the people who say her story mattered.
Maybe Mexico will control their people. Okay, not like super control them, but maybe femicide won't be such a huge thing.
Hopefully. I don't know. I feel like, not to talk bad about Mexico, because I do love Mexico. I am Mexican, but we are very backwards thinking, I want to say, where the man works and the woman stays home kind of thing.
Very, very traditional values.
Yes, there we go. Traditional values.
Yeah.
Because I remember one time my dad said, oh, it's because, I was single for such a long time, or at least I wouldn't bring anybody home. And
Girl,
he would be like,
you brought home one person. One. Only once ever in your life. You know how.
twice, Francisco and Demetrius.
Okay, yeah. Well, we won't count Francisco for now. But literally just one. And then she brought him once. And then gone.
Vanished.
And she never brought another man home. So it made that difficult for me. Because I was like, well, what do I do? Because, like, she don't bring no man home. So I shouldn't bring no man home. But then I just happened to find some man from another state. So it's like, well, how do I explain this?
It's because, like, in a Mexican household, I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like we grew up on tradition where we only date one person and that's it for the rest of your life. So it's hard to, like, date people and not bring them home, because you don't know if you're serious with them. I was never serious with anybody until I was about 25, 26. I was just kind of like, okay, I'm getting old.
Tell that to dad. He's like, how dare you date with no serious intention?
Did I tell you that dad, I'm sorry, we're getting so off topic about loss.
So off topic.
Our dad asked me one time, or my mom, I can't remember, somebody asked me if I was a lesbian.
What?
Because I didn't bring nobody home.
Oh my god. Oh, I would have loved to have been there for that conversation.
I didn't hear the question. I was like, yeah. And then they go, you really like girls? And I was like, no.
Then I'd be like, well, I have girlfriends.
Well, look, okay, it's their fault. Because one time I asked him, because he worked with this guy. He was really cute, and his name was Ismael, and I wanted to date him. My dad.
Dad?
And dad worked, yeah. He was the guy was, okay, get this. The guy was illegal, right? He was a legal Mexican.
Oh.
And I told dad, I was like, yeah, there's this guy that you work with. And I told him, and my mom said no. And I was like, why? And he's like, I was like, I don't know, like 19, 20 or something. What? And he's all like, they said no. And I was like, why? And he's like, because he's not legal. He could just be using you. And I was like, excuse me, ma'am, your husband was not legal either. He could have been using you.
I'm talking from experience.
So, like, I was just kind of like, what the heck? I was like, what the heck? What do you mean he could be using me?
You should be like, Mom, look at you. The one man you fell in love with didn't have papers, and he still doesn't.
Exactly. So I was kind of like taken back by that answer. And I mean, the guy, full respect for our parents, he decided to like not proceed. And he was like, no, it's okay, I understand. And I was like so upset because I really wanted to date him because I really liked him a lot. And
that's
he was just
crazy.
Yeah. While editing, I realized I never got to the point of my story. So my dad had asked me, who's going to take care of you? Kind of like as if, as a woman, I need somebody to be taking care of me. Okay, so the last thing I wanted to say was, if you're grieving, you're not weak. You're honoring love and you're honoring life.
Yes, especially for the men. Say it louder for the men. Yes. I hate that men feel like they can't cry, that they say only strong men don't cry. And I'm like, hello, please show some emotional intelligence. Women find that attractive to begin with, but also, like, you need to be emotionally stable and know how to handle your emotions, like for your
Mm-hmm.
kids, for your workplace, for your spouse, for your family, like for anything. Like just because you're a man doesn't mean that you're not supposed to cry.
Yeah. And then on top of that, it just shows that you are in tune with your emotions, you're in tune with your feelings, you're in tune with my feelings because we all have emotions, especially like us women who we go through hormonal changes and everything. Like
Yeah.
men need to be able to know, like, need to be able to communicate with us emotionally and not just be like, oh, it's because you're on your period. Oh, it's because you're being
Oh my
hormonal. No, I'm
gosh.
not being hormonal. I have a hormonal imbalance probably right now, but just like things just make you feel bad, you know?
Yeah. Just like Disney fireworks. They always make me cry.
They make you cry. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And to end this podcast, I wanted to say I hope that they do catch the person who took her life. Or
Oh,
people, I'm not sure.
absolutely.
Because I know she did say right when she was in the live and before the guy went in and shot her, she said they are coming. So it's kind of like makes me
Yes.
think that it's not just one person. It was probably many people. And who knows, maybe it
I
was,
think they had said that a hitman was probably hired, right?
yeah, I think so.
I think I had heard something about that.
And it just makes you think that somebody planned something on her life.
That's first degree murder.
I had heard somebody say something about like an ex-boyfriend, but I don't know if that was true or if they were talking about something else.
The part that I don't understand is like if it was a hitman, I don't think they would have shot her as much. I mean, I guess unless
Mm-hmm.
they really wanted to make sure she was dead, but they can tell when it is a homicide filled with rage because like usually there will be more like I don't even know how to describe it, but basically like any type of murder or homicide that was like taken by rage, there's a lot more like blunt force trauma to the head or like a lot of
Mm-hmm.
stab wounds because it can be personal and they want to be up close and personal and like actually get the
Yeah.
rage out.
Yeah, they say that if
So
there's a lot of usually stabbing is like the one that's more rage
yeah,
because you're controlling the knife and you're doing all this stuff.
yeah. And so I'm like, I'm not sure if it was an ex-boyfriend because like wouldn't they do it themselves, not hire a hitman?
Maybe unless they didn't want to get blamed for it, they wanted to get away
But
with it. I don't know.
I
There's
don't
women who
know.
hire hitmen.
Yes, there is that. But like I don't know the laws in Mexico, like I don't know the degrees of murder or like what the
Yeah,
penalty would be if they get caught.
I don't know the laws
When?
in Mexico either. I do want to say it might be different than over here, where over here it's very like you get like if you get caught, you know, you're gonna get serve your time, do this and that, whatever.
Mhm.
But I don't know if in Mexico it could be it is corrupt over there, you know. I don't know
Oh yeah,
who did
absolutely.
what, whose name goes where, you know. I don't want to put any things out there, but I don't know.
You know what though? That puts a huge not a target, but because the president of Mexico is a woman,
Oh,
that
that's
makes
true.
her I don't know I don't even know what the right wording for it is, but people should be looking to her like, "Hey, you're a woman. This was obviously femicide. What are you going to do about it to protect women
Yeah.
in Mexico?"
Talking about Mexico's country being run by a woman, out of all places to have a woman for presidency, I did not expect it to be Mexico first.
Mm-mm.
I don't know if they were first, but first from the US and Mexico, you know?
Mexico would be the last place I expect a woman to have power over a country.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah. I was gonna say that's almost like what's going on in Africa. I'm pretty sure it's
Oh,
Africa.
really?
There's genocide going on over there where
Oh, yes.
all the farmers who are white are being killed.
Oh, wow.
And so um there are people, well not people, but white farmers from Africa claiming asylum here right now.
I didn't know that.
Mhm. That's it, like, another thing triggered by race, and they're not saying anything about it really, because if it was the other way around, best believe there would be a whole lot of media over that.
That's what we should do on our podcast bring awareness to things.
Segments of awareness.
Yes.
Our segment of awareness for today is femicide.
Femicide, loss,
Women,
grief, it all ties in.
carry your pepper spray. Don't be scared to use your Second Amendment rights.
Yes. Get that gun, own it, and get a license to carry.
Make sure you know how to shoot it.
Make sure you know how to shoot it. It's actually
And-
harder than you think it is. Recoil
and how
and everything.
to take it apart.
Clean it out and don't let it jam.
Bullets.
It's actually kind of cool doing that.
I'm still too scared to touch a gun.
Oh, well, you better not be scared when you come because Princess wants to take you guys to the gun range.
Yeah, I know.
Thank you so much for tuning in with us today. I hope you enjoyed this segment, even though it was about grief, loss, femicide, it all jumbled into one. Don't forget of those who have lost somebody, and remember Valeria as she was, not how she ended. Tune in next Wednesday where we have so much more to talk about. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe to our podcast. Bye.
Bye.